this lecture video, the topic is Indian economy and we are going to cover is difference between private sector, public sector and joint sector. Actually, we all know countries are divided into three sectors like capitalism, or it may be socialism, or a mixed economy. Actually, India is really depend on mixed economy, that everyone knows. Mixed economy is nothing but it is a combination of both capitalism and also as well as the socialism. Actually, what is capitalism? Capitalism, actually, the advanced countries, developed countries, say like China or America, Germany, Russia, they are fully dependent on capitalism. That is, the full role is the economic development fully controlled by the liable or the controlled overall by the private sectors. That means the government should not interfere in their any economic development. No government rule should be involved in any business activity. That is called the capitalism. When we talk about socialism, it is fully depend on only the role fully played by the person is called as the government person, not the private should involved. We can say the examples like many countries, German or a few countries, they are fully government only interfere in all the roles, they will play all the economic roles. There is no liable for the individual private person. That is a socialism. And when we talk about mixed economy, like India, they are fully depend on both capitalism as well as the socialism. We all know here many private companies are running here, and also at the same time public companies also running over here. So when we it is a mixed economy of combination of both. Private persons should also interfere as well as the private how the private interfere here, saying that much of government also interfere with the sector. That is called the mixed economy. India is fully depends on mixed economy. So based on that, we see the difference. Actually, first we see the ownership between the sectors. First, ownership. When we talk about the ownership for the private individual person, that is might be, if I am having an example, we can say ICICI Bank or TCS or it may be an Ambani. So there are only private sectors, the owner for the company also the individual person. Here when we talk public, we can give examples of Indian Oil or a few banks, we can say State Bank of India. So the government has interfered more, and then ownership of that sectors is a public sectors or the concern is a public government. So joint both the combination of individual people responsibility as well as the government. We can give a ratios percentage, but 24% of the categories for the private and remaining fully controlled by the public. So joint, both joint of private and public. In joint sectors, there is a private person's control over here and also the government person's control. When we talk about the next difference we see is an objective. So the main objective for the running a business for these might be a private or the public or the joint. The main objective for the private, actually the individual is responsible because either it may be a profit or the loss. The individual person is responsible and they can enjoy the profit or loss. So likewise the profit, the main motive of the private concerns like ICICI Bank or private hospitals, whatever it may be, private schools, the main motive is like profit. When we talk about public, actually in public concerns also they are more involved in the profit, but at the same time they are concerned on the social development of it. So in the public complaint of profit, they will involve in the profit also as well as the concern of the society, because government is fully controlled, the people are fully controlled by the government. So government is fully responsible for the welfare of the society also. So their main motive is the profit as well as the social benefit, social welfare to given to the concerned society. So joint stock, saying what the benefit is acquired by the public, it is mostly related to the joint sector also, because it is a combination of both already we know. So profit as well as the social benefit occurs with for joint sectors also. And then when we talk about for the private concern is that accountability is the self-ownership. Who is contributing the amount and they are running the business, they are liable here also. So when the public, we all know government has contributed more percentage of tax. So government is liable for the public sector. When we talk about joint stock sector, both of include. Already we discussed in that previous items topic is the objectives. So both liable is private as well as the government, because they are here the share percentage is 24 plus 64 something, right? We have discussed in that. So the likewise the accountability for the private is individual. Here the government, joint stock is both. And the recent position. So in which sectors all the private can involve? In the private sectors, many business field they can involve in the private sectors, like you can say education or hospitality, or they may be manufacturing sector or industry levels. When we talk about public has the sector, 4 sectors like defense or railway, or it may be a government or Indian oil levels. So in the joint sector,